2025. This is a work session of the School Board of Trustees of School City of East Chicago, and the time is now 6:15. The place is the School City of East Chicago Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street in East Chicago, Indiana, 46312. This is also being shown via live stream at www.scec.k12.in.us. This is the meeting of the School Board of Public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business, and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Roll call. Mr. Gomez, are you present? You're present.
Trustee Gomez. Present. Trustee Smith. Trustee Rodriguez. Trustee Taylor. Madam President Gibson King.
Present. Now we'll turn the a meeting over to Superintendent Dr. Bernay.
Good evening, School Board of Trustees. This work session will serve as our pre-board meeting for our April 2nd, 2025 board meeting. We will start with any questions regarding the claim docket.
Claim docket, yes. Okay, we have an agenda, so you're not following the claim docket. Okay, you going with this one first?
Yes.
All right, claim docket, yes. The, let's see here. Let's see. Okay, I have something here on page 3. The number is 4236DD. Now, I know that this, is this the last time this individual or this company will be paid?
No, there will be one more.
One more?
Yes.
Okay. And we have us 4246DD here. Now, do we get any, anything explaining the amount of this dollars here?
Did you, I'm sorry, what was the,
It's right here, it's 424. I don't know if that's a 6DD, it's up under this.
zero?
Yeah,
Yes,
0DD.
there is details in your packet of your invoices.
It's in the package that we have here?
Yes.
Okay, okay then. Let's see here. And on page 5, 117723. Who is these people?
One one seven.
723. It's on page 5.
This is a company for STEM equipment, and I do believe it was purchased for Harrison.
For Harrison School?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Harrison School. And we have, this is on page 8, 117711. Is this just, what is this here? I mean, I see what it say, but
This was some additional books for the EL department.
okay. Okay, these are books, okay. Okay. You got anything, trustee Gomez?
Have one. It's on page 4, 117695, it's regarding the toll violation. I thought we had agreed to get a iPass for this.
This was prior to the iPass conversation.
You got it?
iPass? No.
You plan on getting one?
We plan on getting one for the white vehicle.
Yeah, what's the number you said? What was that number? On page 4, what was the number? Yeah.
117695.
695.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I thought, okay. Mm-hmm.
We don't use the card that much on tolls,
Maybe us,
huh?
maybe us.
Oh, okay.
We know who it is.
How does
And
it-
on,
Right?
Yes.
can't go to the very top one there, the 117694.
Yes.
Yes. The cleaning? Mm-hmm.
I know these are recurring amounts.
Correct.
and Prices, but
Mhm.
are we looking at other companies that have provide the same services? Have we looked at other companies that would?
We're currently in the process of canceling this contract. And we're just gonna use our maintenance man and getting the supplies. We're not going to go with another contractor for supplies.
Anticipate a saving?
Yes. Compared to that, we paid them over $2,000 a month for supplies that is barely used in our district. Yeah, so if I purchase a total of supplies for amount of 18,000 in the summer month, that will last them at least till mid-spring. And we work with a company out of
Right here.
Maryville. This is a company that also supplies our summer cleaning. We have several companies, contractors we're looking to end also, for cost savings.
Something I need to talk about.
Minor amounts, but just going back to the iPass, like that $15 is for a,
There's a fee that they charge on going through any toll, and I know that because I guess so many of them, but they charge like a $5 fee once you go through a toll and not pay it. It's more fee than the actual toll. Yeah, yes.
That's, okay, we're going through the, let's see here.
Are there any other questions for the claim docket?
So the invoices are part of this?
Yeah, they're in here.
And, it's like I'm assuming they did this to, I'll just say it's for alert alarm. There's a Lincoln number 2 is listed here.
I'm sorry?
It'd be on page 2. This is for alert alarm. It says here, CHS Print Shop, CHS Fitness Center,
Yes,
New Transportation Building, and Lincoln number 2.
yes,
What is Lincoln number 2?
Lincoln. So an alert alarm system, it was labeled as Lincoln number 2 because we had both Lincolns going until the one Lincoln, I'm not gonna say the original Lincoln, but the Lincoln that was torn down.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it says, Lincoln number 2.
And the invoice
Those are
for,
all upgrades to our alert alarm system.
the invoice for the B and H, excuse me, photo, video, pro audio. $25.95 total. What is that for?
That is for CTE equipment.
Do we inventory our assets?
Our assets are inventoried every July. We have a company that comes in, AdTech, that inventory all our assets.
The Calumet College are transition to teaching? Is that right? T to T? T2T?
Yeah, T2 Elementary, Calumet College.
Yes, that's the, Calumet College is the teaching, yes, that's it.
Transition to teaching.
Transition to teaching. Yeah, but how many do we have? How many teachers do we have? Because I know this didn't come up, this didn't come up under you. This was up under somebody else, right? So how many teachers?
Those are the
Oh, okay.
people enrolled in
Not the ones that's supposed to go to school.
Yes.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, but we started out with how many? How many did we start out with? See,
I think we've been in this program with Calumet College at least 4 years. Normally, we'll start out no more than about 6, and then they get to the point that they'll drop out. So
Right.
now we're only left with the 3 that's finishing.
so how many dropped out already?
We can get that,
Yeah, we need to know.
that number from the schools of how many has started and not finished the
Yeah.
programs. Yes.
Because I'm trying to think now, when we did this, now if they dropped out, was they supposed to reimburse?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to think now. So we need some real data on this,
Okay, yeah, we have,
seriously. And we need to know how many are there, that they're still in here, and where how far they are along the way here. And if I'm not mistaken, was this the only college that we had something agreement with? You guys remember?
So we can provide the
right.
board a full report on all of our
yeah.
partnerships with universities, where there's any staff member, whether they're a paraprofessional,
Yeah,
certified teacher, or people on EPs or
Right.
deans.
Right.
And that will provide the board a full report on that.
okay, yeah, because that's something that I think we was gonna go through anyway, but since we here, we could do it now. Okay, Jesse, go ahead.
just wanted to move to, following invoices on, basically, snow removal, et cetera. Just wondering if do we have any plans for landscaping?
What page are we on?
We're kind of in the middle, right after Calumet College. It only shows, I only have page 1 here, but it's not page 1. It's in the middle of these invoices. It's for Calumet Waste and Recycling.
Can I get a dollar amount, please?
One is for 16,980. The other was for 2,569.
Which page was this, sir?
That's for Calumet Waste and Recycling.
So you got a page number, Jesse, it's after, you said it's
There
after
is no
Calumet.
page. I mean,
Yeah, they're at the
there's-
bottom. It's some page numbers at the bottom. You
Well,
got,
yeah, but it's not page 1. It's in the middle of all
Oh.
these
So it's not,
invoices.
there's no page number at the top?
It's page 1.
Are you looking at the invoice or
Look at the
the?
invoices.
Oh, okay, you're looking at invoices.
I'm sorry, the invoices are listed alphabetically. What's the name of the vendor?
oh, what's the name of the
Tell you,
vendor?
Matt.
Is this for school? Yeah, I see it's for school.
I don't have an issue with this. I'm just questioning if, is there a plan for landscaping our schools? Because to be honest with you, the dandelions, I don't think are a sell to me. And it makes me wonder if, I drove by Central High School yesterday, the marquee's not working. There's flower planters apparently under the marquee, they're sitting empty. You add the condition of the tennis court to it. I don't know if this company does landscaping or,
Yes, Calumet does. This here is the bill for the salt over the winter.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. and-
So, yes, they do landscape, and yes, they have put a bid in. I am planning on using my team this year to step them up to the landscaping part. Also, the marquee is not working due to the fact that we need to pull electric from the building out to the marquee. So, no, that's the reason why the marquee is not working. And we can't do that while school is in session. But I'm planning on using my grounds crew for the landscaping this year.
A lot of work to do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Can knock you on that one. It's particularly central. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the note of landscaping, there was a partnership at one time with BP at Block Middle School. It was for native grass.
Yeah.
That area is completely
I
gone
think,
now.
yeah, that area is between Block and Washington that you're
Yes,
referring to.
mhm,
Probably a
exactly.
couple years
Yeah.
ago, we had a superintendent in place that asked that to be removed because it had grown totally wild and BP wasn't coming around to fix it up anymore. So they pulled it out. Yeah.
Does Lincoln still have their,
Lincoln still has their flower and their flower pets. Yes, they have put them out.
they have their own private project going on? don't
Yes, they do. They have their own private project going on right now there.
they? Lincoln schools.
Let's see, another invoice here. And I'm looking at the invoices now. One for meal allowance that was originally, both of them were actually higher. They both came back at $26. Is that a max that we're putting on meals?
If it's a meal allowance, is there any backup attached to that invoice?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
Just curious.
It was a reimbursement from receipt. It's on the claim sheet, correct? Is it on the claim sheet?
I don't. I
A
don't
school city
remember
claim
seeing
sheet?
I don't remember seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah, so what, in the invoice package, you have the vouchers and not the receipts that are attached to this backup documentation.
And the invoice for the Chicago State University has about 10 or so individuals on there. Oh, let me go back to that. President Gibson King brought up a question. For those that have dropped out, are they reimbursing the district?
She said they got to.
Okay, I missed that.
No,
Yes.
let her tell you, let her say it.
What's that? Have they been reimbursing? So since we had a new federal person take over and digging deep into that, so we do have student names that can, that we are going to pursue the money from. Some of the students is no longer here in the district. Also, we do not have the signed contracts from the students because that was to HR departments back. They did not put them in their folders. So the ones that have dropped out, we can pursue the ones that we still have here, but we do not have some of their contracts as being signed. It was, yeah, one HR back.
And with that, I'm sorry, and with that contract, they were supposed to, it should come from HR, right?
Yes, it comes from HR.
Okay, so now with that being said, do you all know the stipulations that they have to stay within the district 2 years? Mm-hmm. Okay,
That's all in the contract, that they have to stay within the district 2 years, and then they have to, if they do not complete the program, they have to reimburse the district.
okay.
Right.
That has been passed down a lot, so there's a lot of hiccups in that thing. I personally, with Ms. Stovall, has been working to tighten it up really good, and she's doing an amazing job at tightening that program up of them going and paying for.
So did you finish, Jesse?
Yes, sir, yes.
Chicago State University, these are some of our teachers here. Is this some kind, they went to some training, or what did they do?
It's okay.
That was the Praxis boot camp that occurred this past summer. That occurred July 2020. I believe you will see approximately 9 to 10 individual names of students that participate in that training. That was structured to prepare them to actually take the Praxis exam so they can report.
So it's a boot camp, you call it?
Boot camp, that's how it was described in the MOU that was
Well, did they go to some training? She said they went to some boot camp
They went twice a week
here.
to Chicago State University
Yeah.
from 5 p.m. to 9:30 on Wednesday.
Okay, so my question here is on the law firm here. I'm trying to understand here, Leila, on Mr. Harris' law firm.
Okay.
Now, there's a teacher here. I mean, do he represents them and charge it to the school? What is they, what was the matter for him to have to represent this individual?
So that would have been a matter that he would have represented the district for going against the teacher.
Pardon?
It would have been a matter, I just need to pull it up, I'm
Yeah,
not
because
sure.
I'm seeing this here. I'm trying to figure out why would he have to pay to represent them?
I'm still on
Yeah,
this.
stay on that one, because we're gonna find out, I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do on that one. We're gonna just, I mean, you can go ahead, say what you want.
I just need to know. Okay, back,
Let her leave, wait till she finishes. Yeah, because see, I wanna know why how is he representing them? And teachers, what is that all about?
these people are expensive. They're expensive.
Which page of the invoice are we?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's well, it's Mr. Harris Law Firm, okay?
Can I see it? I can't, I
Yeah.
don't think
Oh,
I can
you
pull
need
it
to
up
see it.
electronically, but I can look at it. I
Oh,
can probably tell you
sure.
what it is.
Yes, right here, Mr. Snow. These individuals, this is a teacher.
So the two individuals that you're referencing are, without going into too much detail, those are individuals who have workers' comp claims against the district.
Oh,
So
workers'
we,
comps, okay.
were retained by, JW New or JWF, whichever, the work comp insurance carrier has us do the local work for that.
Oh, okay. Workers' comp, okay.
Okay, so that
You
was
can
the
ask your
workers'.
question, yeah.
I'm going back to Chicago State University. Okay, you said that they went to a boot camp? Okay. This is what I'm requesting. For all of these seminars and all of these professional development, we would like, because it's costing a lot of money, we would like some feedback on what did they do? I mean, what was the sessions about? We need some feedback. We're paying a lot of money for professional development, and people are just going. At least when we go to sessions and conferences, we do come back with information. So I'm requesting that whenever, if it's the board agrees with me, when we're doing professional development of any type, type of classes, we need feedback because, you know, they say that they get the classes, they don't get enough information, so I'm requesting from the superintendent that we get some type of feedback on all these professional development and these classes.
And we can do that. That was actually, structured. That arrangement was made, so this was just part of the cleanup process. Since I arrived, there were actually, more, actually attended the orient. I took a deeper dive to actually see who actually attended, based on the number of sessions that was held, that's what we're actually paying for.
So when you say professional development, are you just referring to the MOUs with the schools? Or are you referring to when they go out for a conference?
When they go off, both, okay?
Okay.
Both, basically.
Right, right.
But,
Okay.
both,
So we-
basically.
Okay.
And we'll be able to call them in ourselves under the committee that we have, that's academic committee, because this would be under academics, I would like to think.
Yeah, so the board, moving forward, I've instructed our senior leaders to include their feedback from conference attendances in their monthly executive summaries. We will create a document for other staff, such as teachers, et cetera, to report out their experiences from professional development. But there will be in place a professional development report that will be annually given each month, which will capture all of our professional development as well as their evaluations.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Dr.
Bonet,
Bonet.
but we would like to also call in some individuals ourselves to make sure that they are getting what it is that they're going to these boot camps, paraprofessionals. We would like to call some of them individuals in as well to see how they are administering this information that they're going to training for.
Okay, okay, so all of the conferences or what they go out for professional developments. Okay, so that is be a spreadsheet that will be kept in Title, because 9 times out of 10, Title is paying for it. So Title will have the spreadsheet of who went out and when they went in. I'm actually developing a spreadsheet of conference fees, of all the conferences that's going out, of how much we're actually spending on conferences also, so,
Yeah, we need to know that
yep.
too.
Yeah, that's good too, but we're going to get the feedback from the individuals. Okay, thank you.
And once again, the request for the board to have reports from individuals who have attended conferences will come in the form of presentations to the board or via the academic committee when the board suggests topics for discussion.
I'm sorry.
Any
Over
other
on the-
questions
Okay.
for claim docket?
Where you at now, Jesse?
I was just staying on the Chicago State.
Chicago State University?
Yeah, so this was a boot camp to help them do what?
Prepare to take the practice exam
Okay.
required when you are enrolled in a teacher training program.
And how, what was the return on this investment? Did it help? Did they all pass or?
I believe of that number, and I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but I believe 2 students have actually sat for the exam and successfully passed. There are some who have attempted, but have not yet passed.
Any other questions regarding the claim docket?
It probably is, I just haven't found it.
Not for me.
If there are no other questions, we'll move on to the remaining agenda items.
Got anything else? Take your time. Just got anything else you want
No.
to look for?
Just feedback, that's all.
Okay.
Item 6.01, approval of personnel report.
Let's see.
There were 6 items added to the personnel report for extra duties. Here's an updated copy for the school board with the accompanying documentation.
That's this one here.
That's all one packet.
Okay, give that to Jesse, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jesse, this is yours.
And now, are there any questions regarding the personnel report?
So you said this was added?
Yes, there
When was it added?
today.
Today.
Yes.
I do have a question.
This is the new one.
Items number 16 through 21 were added today under extra duties. So if you recall, we had an unforeseen loss in one of our staff members at East Chicago Central High School. So a number of these individuals are covering that teacher's class.
So you said what numbers they were now?
16 through 21.
So was this something that you gave us to the teacher's contract? Was this part of this, the teacher's contract?
Items
They had-
16 through 20 are per the CBA.
Yes, right, okay. And then I think it was my understanding, did you backdate that? It's my understanding we was not gonna pay these people. That's my understanding, because,
So let's not confuse the two issues. So
Okay.
one is 16 through 20.
okay,
That is per the CBA. Anytime a staff member covers another teacher's class via lesson planning, grading, et cetera. Item 21 is the MOU, which is also on the board item.
right. But isn't this all the same stuff? Wouldn't it be? Under the
Yes,
contract?
they're all the same.
Right, that's what it
duties,
says, right,
correct.
right. So we're not having a problem with adding it to the contract. We're just saying it's going to be a retroactive when we sign the contract.
Yes,
And-
that's item 21. It is
Well, what about, what's wrong with the rest of them? Ain't they,
just started.
don't they have to,
April 3rd.
oh, they just started April the 3rd. From 16, let me get this, because see, we don't have enough time to digest this, what you're giving us to ask questions, so I'm trying to follow you. So I'm
I
trying to see.
understand. that This was also shared in my end of the week update.
Yeah, but we didn't have this. We didn't have this paper.
I understand you didn't have the
Okay.
document. It was just added today.
Right, it was added. You just said what it was. We didn't have this paper. So you're saying 16 through what now?
21,
16 through 21 were added.
So these are the ones that are, so this was effective in January. All this took place already, right?
Correct.
Okay.
we did talk about this, didn't
He said he put in his update, but he didn't have all this information in there as to get paid to teachers, what have you not. The only thing that we got, from my understanding, was his MOU, which we just got at the last board meeting.
Right, that's what I'm talking
Right,
about.
and then.
I remember the MOU.
Right, so my thing was that we'll sign it, but it's gonna have to be dated tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's the date?
Yeah, so two different issues. So.
I'm speaking
the-
about this one
The
here.
number 21 is
Yeah,
listed
20.
as effective April 23rd, 2025.
Right,
That's number 21.
right. And here she is again, of 123. So. But they've already done this work, that's what you're saying? This is what you're saying, right?
Correct. So they
Okay,
started
but now
April
you're
3rd.
asking us, they started April the 3rd on this work. But why is it effective 1/21/25?
Oh, that is an error.
Yeah, so, see, we need to just discuss this at a later date, because it's just too much.
Oh, still on.
We're gonna have to discuss it, because it's just, the dates are wrong in here. He says effective April the 3rd. And I know I spoke with Dr. Bonet about, and then too, well, my question too, this individual that's on here, number 18. Now, did they get their, license?
That person is certified.
Okay, then that's where, okay. So we can just revisit this at another time, till we get the right understanding as to what it is we're supposed to be doing here. So anyway, we'll just go on with the next one here. And, the
I
next-
have one question.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Yes.
On the personnel report,
Where you at now?
personnel report, page 2, I'm sorry, number 1.
Which number?
Number 1, page 2.
Yes.
Number 1, page 2.
Yes.
The new hires?
Yes.
Yes.
Going back to attorney, I'm sorry, no. Going back to the Indiana Department of Workforce Development, that same individual is listed here in the middle of this page of page 2, this document. That is the same person?
Let me find the document.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Because it's the same person.
From the one we have here and the new one.
No, it's listed here.
Okay. And so now, say your question again, trustee Gomez?
Is this the same person, and what's the relationship?
The
With this
relationship to-
document here?
Are you referring to a document in your hiring packet?
This individual right here.
It's in the invoices. It's in the invoices.
Damn, when I can't hear.
It's in the invoices.
Oh.
Ms. Simmons, could you help? Yeah.
Oh, so she's on the personnel report and
It's in the invoice packet.
What page is that? What page is that on?
It was in the invoices.
Yes, in here, I know.
Right after Attorney Harris's fees.
Okay.
It'd be under the Indiana Department of Workforce Development.
So the way this looks to me is that this person applied for unemployment because she previously worked here a couple years ago. We denied it and we got the money back from her. So when she lost whatever she did recently to get unemployment, they tried to pull it from us and it was not available to pull from us. And so we got a reimbursement for this.
So just, that's not uncommon, actually, when you have, there's two ways that, I'm not an expert in this, but to the best I can understand it, there's two ways you can have your unemployment account set up. One of them, you make kind of regular periodic contributions and they draw as needed. The other, you kind of pay per experience, I think is what they call it. And sometimes when a person leaves employment here and then gets hired somewhere else and loses their job there, they look back a certain number of quarters to figure out who to bill for the unemployment. And so in some cases, a person might lose a job, 2 employers down the road, and you don't really have any control over it, but they hit your account for it. So this sounds like something where maybe they did that and then they decided that it was wrong and they reimbursed it. But it happens. It's not, that's not uncommon.
Any other questions regarding the personnel report?
Yeah, just give us a heads up before changing it before a work session. Can it be done in a timely manner?
It's gonna be done in a timely manner from now on.
I mean, I understand we're under time constraint, but
So I met with the board president, addressing some concerns regarding teachers who had previously started doing work. I do want to remind the board that previously we do have authorization to allow employees to start working if they are in student-facing positions. So in order to make sure there's no interruption of the quality of instruction, this falls under student-facing position, which is done and then placed on a board report after, or personnel report after. So that is the case with, for example, a paraprofessional being hired before a personnel report is approved. That's the case of a classroom teacher. It's also the case of a bus driver. So we've done that in the past. So it is not uncommon to see someone who is covering a class after they've started working. other items for personnel report?
Under the, this is not on personnel, but it's under HR memos. The fourth page is a reinstatement.
Yes.
Fourth page.
There's one reinstatement in the personnel report.
It's in the HR memos.
Say it again. What was your question?
Page 4.
Page 4.
Yes. So this is one of our deans who is enrolled in a program which allowing him to stay a dean. He was previously listed as a non-renewal. We determined that his delay in providing documentation was on the university's fault and not on his fault. So we're reinstating him to his position.
He was already at block, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, my question is on page 4. I know this is another thing that me and Trustee Smith is saying. When they have homebound services, we need to know where the services is at. Library, at home, or at an agency, or homebound could be anywhere. So we like to have that spelled out.
The accompanying memos for
Uh-huh.
homebound include where the services are delivered.
The memos, the ones that we have in here?
Correct.
Okay, so let me look and see. Is it a problem with them putting on personnel report as well?
The location that where services are delivered are not in the personnel report, they're on the memo.
Yeah, it said, is it a problem? I know it, you said it's in the memo. Because it used to be on there. They used to have homebound services on the personnel report where they were getting the services at. You know, they used to have it on there. So.
You mean on the
On the personnel report, yeah, they would have on here, they would have on here, it was at the library. They would have on here at Daystar, the group home over there, they would have it on here. They would have the services where it was at. So homebound, under Article 7, it reads, this, you got to be specific where it's at. Because homebound could be anywhere, we don't know this. But it was on our personnel report at one time.
You want the location of service delivered added to the comment section on the personnel report?
Well, I'm asking, you know, it used to be there, now we just only seeing homebound, that's all we're seeing now.
They might not even be showing up.
That's what I'm saying, we don't ever know where they at. So, you know, we would like to have that, if possible, if this is not gonna be,
We will update the personnel report to include that.
okay, thank you, Dr. Bonet.
That's not the same Michael Johnson. Well, maybe. Not the same Michael Johnson.
That's all I have for my question.
I just, about this, well, this is probably not talking about this, but I just need to know that it was a misunderstanding in the community about these people going to school for teaching. Dr. Bernier, I know some of them did not apply for their applications to be deemed as students or whatever. But clarify this, because there's a rumor that they said you can't do online classes. Can they do online classes?
Yes. So, and either human resources or school improvement are available. We did not approve any format for obtaining lunch. So they could have done online or in person or a hybrid. The number of partners that we had already worked with were all in person, but that did not prevent any staff member from finding another university to provide the services.
I
And
just
obviously
wanted to
Chicago
clear it up,
State and
'cause-
Calumet are in-person
Right.
programs.
Because, you know, when we get all the information, it's all backwards. Well, they said we have to go to South Suburban, or we can't do an online class.
We've never
So, you know,
communicated
they're
that.
gonna use whatever excuse they can to get out of the reason why they haven't applied for classes, and that's just the rumor. So during your conferences or when you started hiring, let them know, I mean, you don't have to let them know, but it should be specific that, all these rumors, they come to us with all of this. We can't, they said that they won't pay for this, and I know what we said. I know what our contract says, but they're saying, well, we can't, we got a letter because they said that we have to go to South Suburban and we can't do online classes, and I know that that's not true because I know that some schools, they, give you work experience credits. Am I correct?
That is correct.
So we don't have one dean student. Okay, administrative.
Any other items for personnel? All right, we will move to item 6.02. Tomorrow, I will ask the board to table item 6.02, which was the approval of Director of Student Support Services position. We have to evaluate the title of that position given federal legislation impacts.
You have to do what now?
We're going to evaluate the title of that position given federal legislation impacts.
6.03. Are we tabling this until we
Yeah,
have
tomorrow.
discussion?
I guess, I don't know. He said he want us to table it. I guess once we do it, we can have some discussion. But not out in the board meeting. We just table it.
Okay.
As this is in our packet, I would like to ask that the items number 3 and 4, duties and responsibilities, those were added to this.
Correct.
Said what, Jesse, 3 and 4?
3 and 4, duties and responsibilities. I think we talked about this maybe in our
What
exec
page are you
session.
on in that book?
Where you at?
And the Director of Student Support Services job description.
Yes. Yes,
So
okay.
the highlighted items are the only things that have been added.
Where you at?
In the directives.
Oh, my little red tab gone. Okay, gotcha.
So what was your question, Jesse?
Oh, I was just asking if those were highlighted first, but second is, I think that we had, and Attorney Snow or Madam President could maybe answer this. I thought we had discussed the situation of including salaries in job postings.
Oh, yeah. Right. So this is the job description and not the
Right.
job post.
I understand.
So we will be including salaries when we post the vacancy.
Okay,
The salary ranges as per se.
yeah, for me personally, I'd like to know that before we approve that.
So we're gonna just table it.
Say,
Correct.
table. Tomorrow.
Item 6.03 is the approval of administrative salary schedule. Questions regarding that item? Okay. If there are no questions, we'll move to the next item. Approval of MOU of East Chicago Federation of Teachers, Local 511, AFT, Article IV, Article 4. This is the MOU which we had discussed previously. Dr. Majunkis is available to answer any questions.
Well, we just need the date changed on it. Just the same one. What's tomorrow's date gonna be? What, April 21st?
April 23rd.
So we need that date changed on here. And this is the one that me and you discussed and said that this individual would not get paid until April the 20, tomorrow, 22nd.
That is correct.
And, pardon? Pardon?
I need a point of clarification. Individual paid for the work already done prior to, or are you saying we won't get paid until for any work after the 23rd? That's what I'm trying.
Yeah, we had discussed that they would get paid when this is signed for the work starting, not nothing prior.
There will, well, the CBA says that all of the teachers that are student-facing can be paid the additional money for taking on the courses.
We understand what it said, okay?
And the person won't be doing it, the teacher is returning.
Pardon?
And by tomorrow, the teacher is returning. So
Okay.
that means this person won't get paid anything?
But this is when we get stuff late, and then we don't even go along with what we have right here in front of us, Mrs. Majunkin, okay? So now, for whatever the reason, they left it out of the CPA, I don't know. And it was not, well, we don't know.
We're on this teacher's thing, it's right here, right?
Yeah, because he gave that to us late again.
Any other
Give it to
questions
the-
regarding
Get
6.0?
late. Oh.
Just as this stands, I thought it was, is this not, maybe I'm wrong here. Did this dollar amount move up? Was it $40 a day, or am I wrong?
Yeah, it's changed in the CBA. The new contract is 60 for them doing the lesson plans, the grading, and it's four components to it. So yes, in the CBA, it is currently $60 per day. The MOU addresses the fact that there are, in a high school setting, is different from an elementary school. Teachers teach separate courses. So the MOU is addressing your middle school and your high school teachers that might have to pick up somebody else's courses. In both cases where these teachers were picking these up, these were emergency situations. Injury, where the teacher had to leave suddenly, and the other one was a death.
We had instructional coaches, Dr. when they talked about our instructional coaches.
What's your question?
Oh, no, I ain't got a question. I was
Oh.
just saying something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear you said something about instruction.
Yes.
I don't remember to talk something about this, but
The two questions I have is, so they are broken down into four categories, if you will. How does that work in the real world when, I think under the personnel report that was given to us, just given to us today? So do you have, this is what it sounds like to me. You have one teacher doing lesson planning, one teacher doing grading, another one doing entering grades. I'm confused at the continuity aspect of this. I understand the high school model, but how does that really work?
It's not one teacher doing
Right,
It's one teacher doing all of those things for each course, for one course.
Okay.
So, if you have a teacher that's teaching, that has picked up the classes for English 1, that person has to put in addition to their teaching load, they use their prep time, which is supposed to be free prep time for them to prepare. They use their own time to do the work of another teacher's course. And that's all 4 components of that course. So then if you've got a teacher, so let's say that the teacher who's out taught English 11 and English 12. That's 2 courses. So you've got to have a person who can do the grading, the lesson planning, the running off of copies, entering data, all for that English 11 course. Then you've got to have either that same person that's going to pick up that person's other course, or you have another teacher who is giving up their prep time to do it. So according to the contract, their prep time is duty free. That's time they're not supposed to be disturbed. They can work on things they need to work on. But they choose to help out, but we compensate, the district compensates them according to their CBA. And that's in most districts, pretty much all districts.
and prior to it was it $40 a day or?
It
was
was
40.
$27 a day, I think it was. And, it was renegotiated during the, contract because it's a lot of extra work in addition to what they're already doing, and so they negotiated the $60 per day as opposed to the $27 per day.
So in order to be entitled to perform the English 11 and English 12, they would need 2 prep times, 1 individual, correct?
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
In actuality, yes, they
Yeah.
would. But a lot of teachers don't get that. Some teachers get 1 prep time to prepare for all of their stuff, which is not really likely that they can do it, so a lot of teachers do work at home.
That would be my other question. Because it seems then, if they're doing someone else's work, when do they have time to do their own?
Most of
Okay,
them do
understand.
a lot of work
After,
beyond their regular
yeah.
work day.
And then I guess I'm somewhat troubled by the end of the last sentence there. The additional compensation seems to be an open checkbook to me by someone who's been authorized, according to the document here, quote, authorized by the superintendent to perform additional work assignments. That's pretty vague. That's pretty vague to me.
Okay. That was added, in the case of a situation similar to the one, just for instance, the teacher that passed away. So we've got 4 teachers picking up those courses. But what if we couldn't get 4 teachers to say, yes, I'll do it? Whereas it was the case with the others. The others didn't want to teach the English classes. Nobody wanted to take it. But we had that one person that said, I'll step in and do it. And now that person is not going to be compensated. Whereas if you had the 4 different teachers that do it all, each person gets compensated. But the superintendent would have to step in on a situation like that if only one person would agree to do it, but they're teaching 4 different courses. And then is it fair for them to get only the $60 and they're teaching all of the different courses that it took 4 people to come in and cover for? Am I explaining it? Am I clear?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I just,
Because they don't have to do it. They can turn it down. And most of them do it as, if the principal asks, would you please cover? We got a situation. So they don't have to do it. So they get compensated for taking on that extra load.
But if you're taking on the courses of a teacher who has, they call them preps, preparation for each course. So if you got English 1, you have to have preparation to prepare for English 1. If you have an English 2 class, preparation to prepare for English 2. So if you've got multiple teachers taking one of the different courses, then those teachers are to be paid $60 per day to do all of the additional work beyond their own schedules. So, and in many cases, like one of our teachers that took this on, has like I think it's 140 students, might be 150 students. Every day, that's what the teacher who had the class, that's what that teacher did. But that was that teacher's normal schedule. This person took this on. So that's why the person asked for additional money. But we put in the MOU, and you know, that it would be based on courses on the middle school and high school level, because courses are taught individually, whereas in elementary school, you pretty much have one teacher for all your courses. They playing math, they playing science, they playing English, they playing, you know what I'm saying? But high school, middle school, most cases you have a separate teacher for each course. That's why students float around to the different classrooms throughout the day.
You actually triggered something when you were responding. At the front end of that same sentence, it says the superintendent may approve additional compensation. So I guess that'd be another sticking point for me. What does additional compensation mean?
So for example, if there is an equity issue around the caseload or the workload, and we feel that 120 is not adequate for the level of duties or the scope of work, then the superintendent would have the leverage to say, I'm going to offer an extra $250 because, I'm gonna say $250, extra $50 to this, so it's now 170, if we feel that that was more equitable for the amount of work they're doing. Right now, I think unforeseen, we didn't expect to have these number of teachers out. And it also speaks to the fact that a number of our teachers who typically go above and beyond, you know, we don't want to burn them out. So that is why we would like to split the losses. No one should be doing more than 2 anyway. But we did have one teacher in particular who went above and beyond, and that is why we were arguing on her behalf or to compensate her. But typically, we don't expect to have more than one English teacher out or more than one teacher, not just English, but more than one teacher who has multiple courses in this situation.
So basically, that's where the $120 come in if they were to do 2 classes. But if they did 3, that would be your discretion.
Correct.
But a teacher cannot exceed the 120. So basically, she can only just do 2 classes, which is equals
Well, the
120.
120 doesn't just, so we want to keep distinguishing the difference between course and class.
Okay,
So,
class.
so for example, I might only teach one course, the same course 6 times a day. If I was covering for that teacher's class, I would only get $60.
Right.
For her entire class, because she only had one course. It's easier because, well, I'm only making one lesson plan, or I'm only whatever it is, but it's the volume of paper and work that has to be graded. And obviously, it's an English teacher, so they're grading and reading essays and long writing. As opposed to if I was some other teacher, content area teacher, and I was scoring some sort of short answer sheets, or I was scoring a quiz that I can run through a Scantron machine. So it's a little bit more work required to grade that. The other piece is if I was teaching and no one else took it, no one else said I was gonna cover it, it's the end of the year, I have projects, and someone said, well, I'm willing to do it, but $60 to cover all 120 plus students is unreasonable. I would, if I was a superintendent, say, okay, well, I'm gonna offer another $100 so that you are covering all of the students, for example. Other questions or concerns regarding 6.04? 6.05 is the approval of a principal leadership coaching, professional development. That is one of my agenda items, so I will share briefly with the board what that entails. So my desire is to make sure that we support our leaders, our building level leaders, our principals who are doing the frontline work. And so my recommendation for supporting them is providing them with an executive leadership coach, which would meet with them around 10 sessions to work on targeted areas for improvement. Those targeted areas of improvement are based on my superintendent evaluation of them as a principal. And then other items or goals that they need to work for. One is obviously improving academic outcomes, et cetera. So these principal leadership coaches are excellent, high-performing current principals or former principals. And we would have a meeting where principals would be able to meet with the pros leadership coaches, and there will be a principal matching skill set with the principal candidate, and that would start approximately in July and conclude by December, short of me making decisions regarding renewal or non-renewal for my principal leaders.
So it's just what, a 4-month contract? Is that what you're
Correct,
saying?
6-month contract
Say July
through December.
and ends when?
December. And you say how many people?
There are 7 principals, so each principal have their own leadership.
So that means it's gonna be 7 people? to-
Correct.
To one per coach, one per principal.
That is correct.
They need some assistance.
Say it again.
I say they need some assistance,
Yes.
pretty much is what you're saying. They do. So each one of them will have their name on this contract?
Yeah,
right?
so when that is finalized, you'll have 7 different agreements. So the agreement form attaches just what the agreement form will look like. Other questions for item 6.05?
See what you're
Well,
saying?
I got a few of them.
Each will
So
provide a
compensation
summary.
is at 8,000.
Oh, hold on a minute, Jesse. Ms. Trustee Smith had something about this here, leadership. Each principal leadership coach will provide a summary. So they're gonna provide a summary of coaching session? They're gonna give it to us?
Nope.
So we won't see it?
Summaries will go to me.
Okay. He said the summaries will go to him, we won't see
Okay.
it. Okay.
Okay, Jesse, go ahead. Sorry.
I think the math may be wrong here. It shows that
Oh, where you at, Jesse?
the compensation at the bottom of the page,
On
it
the
was
same
meant-
thing for the coach?
yes.
Oh, you talk about the leadership coach will be paid $8,000.
Yeah, 48.
And
And
the
this is-
48,000 will be allocated, but if you're talking about 7,
Oh, God.
you're looking at 56,000.
Thank you, that is correct. We'd have to allocate 56,000 in Title II.
Is this coming from a grant
A grant?
application?
Yes.
We don't have the grant yet, though, right?
We do not.
So how we gonna prove it?
You said we do not?
We do not. Well, we haven't submitted the grant for next year. That is just what we're planning to pay for it out of.
So don't you think we should wait till we get the grant?
No, so even if we're planning for it, once we get their allocation, we will make adjustments or make amendments. But we start planning for next year now.
And if we don't get the grant, then this
They
program is
can't gonna
null
get-
and void.
Right.
No,
Right.
then we would have to find another funding source for it.
Well, with all the cuts they're gonna make anyway,
Well,
with they gonna make cuts anyway, so.
okay,
Okay.
let me see.
Does doesn't the state offer some similar program?
Yes, there are a number of providers in the state of Indiana. Some of our principals have attended the IPLI, the Indiana Principal Leadership Institute. There is another program, I can't recall the name of it, that also provides executive leadership coaching.
You said the state does offer programs,
Why would we not use them?
Say it again.
Why would we not use the
The other vendor?
IPLI or some other organization?
So we have used IPLI.
Oh, we have?
So there are principals
So what was?
enrolled in IPLI this year.
yeah.
There is probably at least one principal who will be in IPLI next year. This will be in addition to that
What
support.
was, okay, so what was the outcome of that then?
I'm recommending that we have principal leadership coaching.
Yeah, no, but they already had some coaching, you said before, right? So should there be some kind of result or some kind of data behind all that?
Yes.
So what was the data on that one then?
So we will have Ms. Gutierrez and present information regarding IPLI, and we'll follow up with the board regarding that. This is based on my observations and evaluation of principles, and maybe gaps that IPLI does not cover.
Or the way this reads, maybe it's just through experience, that where it says who are the leadership coaches, former or current principals. Are these former or current principals who have taught in the state of Indiana?
That is correct. There are Indiana principals and former principals in that pool as well.
I know one of our former principals, if she was principal of the year, I don't know if you've reached out to her,
She accepted the invitation. She'll be joining us.
Who
Dr.
was that,
Finley?
Jesse? Yeah, who was
Yeah.
that?
Didn't she win an award?
Who was that?
Ms. Bradley,
Ms. Bradley, okay.
There was also Miss Finley, too,
yeah, and whoever else is
Shauna Finley.
consulting partner.
Shauna, Finley. Okay.
Okay, other question regarding 6.05.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Item 6.06 is the approval of InterVision International Incorporated for our parent university program coming on May 3rd. Ms. Stovall is here to address any questions for the board. Ms. Stovall, if you can just give us a brief overview just of specifically Intervision's work that they'll be doing with our parent university, and then the board will have questions.
Sure, so in your packet, you should have the bio of our selected keynote speaker, along with the description of the sessions that he will be presenting on during Parent University, as well as several letters of references where he has worked in various states, providing similar presentations, not only to high school districts, but very diverse audiences, post-secondary institutions, as well as various police academies, which you will see on his bio. He is a very sought-out individual. You will also see in your packet a description of the charges. So he will be our keynote speaker, as well as providing 2 breakout sessions. Typically, the total cost for what we're receiving cost approximately $15,000. And we are getting it for half the cost. And so you will see the breakdown of the expenditures. You will also see that we're also having the session that day being videographed, and there are no charges that we are being charged for that. Ms. Smith, you have a question? I saw a pause.
No, I'm just saying, we're talking about this parent university.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My only problem with that is, before you, now this just me personally, don't take it to heart.
Yes, ma'am.
Before you make something like this, for this magnitude, this should have been discussed with the board prior to this, being put into the community, because that's a lot of money. And from my understanding, it's at 7:30 in the morning.
So we actually met collectively as a team. I also met with the building principals last Monday because I wanted to get their input. I'm new to the district, and so I'm still learning the culture and the climate. And so we've actually pushed the time back by 1 hour based on the recommendations from the building principals. I did not realize that the time that we actually had decided upon collectively as a group was actually earlier than the school start day time. So based on the recommendations of the building principals, we pushed everything back by an hour. So the doors will now open up at 8:15, with breakfast being from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And the first keynote address will begin at 10 a.m. But there are a plethora of activities that's happening during that day with the vendor presentations, the breakout sessions, the student performances, as well as the vendor fair, all happening simultaneously from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., which is when we will conclude the day.
I'm not questioning I'm questioning the fact that before something like this, of this magnitude, this should have been discussed with the board prior to this. It might have been discussed with Dr. Bonnier, but to my understanding, when we're doing something like this has to be board approved before anything goes out. And that's where the misunderstanding is. Any monies we're trying to stop all this unnecessary spending. I understand what you're saying. I get the board, I get the parent university, but prior to that, that type of money should be brought to the board before any decisions are made. Because you already put it out there,
It is out there.
yeah, but it wasn't board approved.
May I add 2 things? So in our previous Title I application, we are required by the state to spend a portion of those funds on parent engagement activities. So that was pre-allocated. And then obviously there is past parent universities. So as part of this administration, I did want to have a different experience for parent university. So my apologies if the board was not advised before Parent University. I believe we have been talking about Parent University since I came on board.
Yeah, we have, but, okay.
Yeah, we've
I'm
been,
gonna leave that alone right now. I'm gonna leave that alone right now, because we have a spokesperson over Parent University. I'm just trying to get the grasp of how you got involved with Parent University.
Director of School Improvement, Parent Engagement falls under that window, and overseeing the federal grants programs, as Dr. Bornay said, there's a certain percentage in each of the grants that have to address parent engagement, or the state would not approve the release of those funds overall for the entire grant cycle or grant amount that has been allocated for each of those grant programs. So we have to meet the definition that is required by the state for each of our title programs as it relates to parent engagement.
I understand that, so I understand that, but our Parent University had been organized prior to your hiring, so who's helping you with this Parent University?
So we have a committee of approximately 12 people.
May I ask who they are?
Yes, ma'am. So it's myself, it is the Director of Special Ed, it is the Director of ELL, it is our Parent or FACE Coordinator, it's our Federal Grant Specialist, it is our Director of Social Emotional Learning, our Director of Technology, the Technology Grant Assistants, our Community Marketing individual, I'm not sure.
That.
Emily Lopez.
So may I, keep going, keep naming.
Okay, I'm not sure what Jeremy's title is, but he creates a lot of the printing for our platform. I'm trying to think who else I'm missing. And then we have the voices of the building principals.
Okay, so let me just say this. I'm not trying to be funny, but the voice of East Chicago for years, I did not hear Sylvia Alvarez's name being called.
That's FACE Coordinator. That's Sylvia Alvarez.
Say- Okay, so she helped you with this.
Yes, she's on the planning committee. She's been in attendance at every meeting.
So what is her position? She just the planning committee?
We're all part of the planning committee collectively.
Okay, so you all agreed to this early morning breakfast.
We all agreed to the agenda. This was not decided by one individual. This was collectively decided by the committee that meets weekly to discuss where we are in the process.
so I'm with Vice President Mrs. Smith on this here. I think that we've always had Parenting Universal, always. Sylvia Alvarez has always been the face of our community, Hispanic and as well as African Americans. We're not trying to say that we're not for change. We're always looking for change, but we're looking for the change to come where it's going to be beneficial to our community.
Right.
Now, this just came out May the 3rd, okay?
That is the date.
Yeah, you're right, May the 3rd, yeah, it's the date. And now you're saying that the time has been changed from 7:30 to 8:30.
We just pushed it back 1 hour.
I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying, I'm just asking, you said it's been changed now from 7:30 to 8:30, right?
For breakfast.
Right, okay. And so I'm always, was here, you know, I would like to see when we get whatever it is that we're trying to do, we need to get our schools on track, first of all, before we start doing anything such as this. You know, we know what to
This is
expect.
an effort to get the schools on
We
track,
ain't- but-
Trustee Gibson.
But we ain't got it there yet, though. Okay, so see, we always putting the horse before the cart. We have not gotten there yet, Dr. Bonet, and trust me, we understand where you're trying to go, but we ain't got there yet. I think that when we, doing the search, we knew what we asked for in the search, okay? So that's already been communicated with the community stakeholders. We all said what we wanted, but some kind of way here, we're getting all of these look good on paper type stuff, you know, like everything does, but then it's never implemented because it's not put together in the right fashion, as far as my speaking. So I have to go along with trustee Smith here,
Right.
that this was not, and the cost factor here. We're not saying that the state didn't say that we didn't have the money. We want to utilize the money in the right aspect, but for the right time.
I don't feel like it's very I don't think it's diverse enough. I have nothing against the speakers, but it's not gonna, do we have to have an interpreter here?
Yes, this all in there,
So,
yes. It's
so,
all in
We
here, the
shouldn't have to do that
interpreters,
if we had two different,
it's all in here, the
I don't think
interpreters,
it was well planned.
the costs and all
So
that
this
stuff.
plan was put in place of the original parent university, which did not achieve this goal. So it was a limited number of sessions, and it was more money than this person that we're paying for this vendor. And so the superintendent directed the team to revise the proposal for parent university, and this is their revision.
and so on that day, outside of the keynote presentation that is going to be presented in both English and with the interpreter, we also have a total of 10 breakout sessions that will run 2 sessions each for 45 minutes each, both in English and in Spanish on that day.
And how many people do you plan on attending?
Each building has a goal of 75 parents from their building.
So how many people is that? Total,
A little over 500.
500 people?
Yes, ma'am. The last, just for data purposes, the last time this event was held,
Say what, huh?
just for data purposes, the last time this event was held, the number of parents in participation was 119.
And she said federal dollars is paying for some of this. She said title dollars.
Everything is being funded out of the title program. Yes, ma'am.
What title?
Title IV and Title I. And we hope that you all will enjoy us for a fun-filled, packed morning with our theme, engaging every parent, empowering every student, every day.
How does the Spanish interpreter work if you're having two concurrent sessions?
So with the breakout sessions, we have the 10 sessions running in 10 different rooms for the 45 minutes. And then at another time, for another 45 minutes, we'll have those same 10 sessions running. And so utilizing our sales and BFOs in the district. And some of the presenters are our own employees. And so we have other individuals who are supporting us on that day with the interpretation. And on the registration form, just for data collection purposes, as parents are registering, they're being asked if they are in need of interpreter for the session.
They still ain't saying that. Help my babies.
Any other questions regarding item 6.06? Thank you, Ms. Stovall.
You're welcome.
Item 6.07 is the approval of termination of a Stone Group contract. Questions from the board?
We don't have it in our package.
Where we at now?
6.07, we don't have it. Oh, is it on the personnel report?
It's listed as agenda items, not on the personnel report.
Joy, you could say this for $10.
I know. Okay, we don't have that. Do you have, you have that? 6 point what now?
6.07.
I ain't got it.
We don't have it, but we need a copy.
You got 6.07.
It's on the
Is that the,
To your reminder. Ms. Bigum, could you make another copy for the board?
6.07, let me see. I know the volleyball was just answered.
Yes.
And then,
I know the volleyball was just.
we don't have any terminations on there, right? What happened to, no terminations on here?
There's no termination on this
I
personnel.
saw it.
It should be. What about the guy
I
with
can't
food?
find it. You didn't.
That's in your weekly update.
Yeah, but, okay, but,
It would be reflected on
when you say reflected, when, next school board meeting to be on there?
that. Yeah, probably on the
I
next
don't
report.
care who this man is. I don't think it's very good. I'd rather have had the Cheeto man. You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't see him, but I heard,
But he's
I heard a
good.
lot about him, yeah. Yeah.
Boy.
I mean, he's down to earth and he's very diverse and he's not because he's Hispanic, but he's down to earth. He knows from the trenches up to a billionaire.
Oh, goodness.
He was, I stayed to I think everybody else had left because they had to come back home. I was very, very impressed with him.
Inside. I said this is a family.
Yeah.
Here somewhere.
Yeah, I heard he was really good.
I mean, he went in the back and he was just creating ideas and came up with a formula. He couldn't ride the buses that the committee rode because they didn't know how they were like there. But I really wanted him. I'm paying $8,000, goddamn it, it's gonna be for somebody that I appreciate. I don't know nothing about these things. Are we finished?
No, we waiting on that contract that he said we don't have. We don't have it. Did you say it's in our binder? She said it's somewhere in here.
Which contract?
It's not a contract, it's a letter.
It's a letter
It's just
from
a
Jewel.
letter.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I don't see it in yours.
Contracts
very
for what?
back?
Teachers?
See, you only gave me one. I think you gave me one, but it ain't in my binder though.
Oh, I don't know what's in this one.
It ain't in here.
Ms. Simmons.
Oh, you talking about, okay, this.
Yeah, but it's not in here.
It's on the board docs, but it's just not.
It's on the, oh, I'm sorry.
So this gonna be 6 point what now? 6.07?
07.
No, that's old. That ain't the right one. No, I got it in the book. The right one is in here. It's in here. Here it is. This is the right one. 6.0.
So we're not putting that other person in there?
Oh, Hudson and Hudson, yeah, them they are, but this is the different one.
Okay, but we haven't made a decision on the litigation person yet. That's between us, though. Haven't made it, we don't know what they cost yet, have we?
Oh, no, not
So
yet.
that's,
Oh, no,
that's
no,
not
that's
on the board,
different,
that's
yeah.
on the next,
Right,
right?
yeah. So, let me see now. Okay, now.
Questions regarding item 6.07?
This, as I'm reading this, we approved this on your recommendation. We approved this on November 19th.
Supposed to end in June.
No, December 31st. So if we were entering into this agreement for 13 months, why cancel it at this point in time? You were the one that recommended this to terminate December 31st, 2025.
What's your question, trustee Gilman?
Why are you now, as we're halfway through this, excuse me, through this contract, this was your recommendation, this company was your recommendation to the board. On November 19th, we entered into this agreement. And again, on your recommendation, it was scheduled to terminate December 31st of 2025. My question is, why are we now going back on a contract that we had entered into?
Not necessarily, I mean. You don't really want to get into all the reasons on the public record necessarily, but.
What did he say?
You don't want to give him none.
So in order to answer trustee Gomez's question, probably more appropriate to discuss in executive session.
Okay,
So
so if we could
per
pull
the-
this item, I would feel more comfortable knowing, because I have a ton more questions now that I'm looking at this. If we can, Madam President, pull this from the,
Say what now, Jesse?
if we could table this item. There's a lot more questions I have, and it's clear that we can't answer it in a public session.
Oh, okay, but this has already took place, but we're just gonna ask some questions, right?
Yeah, so
This already.
Well, the reason for terminating the contract, legal says more appropriate to discuss in executive session.
Right, right.
This is not listed in the termination letter.
Right. So we could just add this on to the, May the 1st, I guess.
So what they're saying is we're gonna just discuss this further in executive session.
Yeah.
And we're tabling
Yeah.
personnel, the
To the
status,
exec
right?
session.
Okay, so. Okay. That's it.
Well, that concludes all the new business items.
We got another.
No other agenda items.
Oh,
for
it's
this
not?
work session. No.
Oh,
It's
you're
just
not
a
go-
pre-board meeting.
So you're not discussing this?
No, that's a closed session item.
Well, why is it on the agenda then?
There was probably an error on the agenda.
So, okay, so this is, what is this thing you're saying?
There, just to, I mean, at least what I understood of the conversation with Dr. Bonet, most of the agreements, I'm not familiar with the history, Attorney Harris did the termination letter here. Most of the agreements that we do with our professional service contractors have what they call a termination for convenience provision in them, which basically says if we give them 30 days' notice, we can terminate the contract. Depending on what we negotiate with them and what they're willing to accept, sometimes if you're terminating for an actual cause, you can terminate the contract more quickly and more cleanly. Sometimes when you're terminating for convenience, you have to give more notice, and sometimes there's a penalty associated with that. You can get out, but you have to kind of buy them out. Off the top of my head, I don't know exactly what the provision is in this. I can probably find the contract if you want, but the comment from the superintendent was basically, this is one that's intended to be terminated for convenience, which could mean that we have a more cost-effective alternative. It could mean that the contractual relationship just isn't going well. Could mean that it just didn't turn out to what we thought it was going to be. But rather than kind of air out all of that on the public record, I guess I'd like to hear a little bit more about the reasoning behind it so that, and it may be that it's appropriate for a public session. I just don't want to go into that blind.
Understood.
Yeah. So if we table it, we can always bring it up at another work session, or we can schedule an executive session, but we will know ahead of time.
Okay. So that's it, yes, so that's it, Dr. Renee?
That is it.
Meeting is adjourned.
Wait, before we do that, so
What's that?
Doctor, I'll read it, I'll find out. It's
Says
over,
something up about it.
the volleyball.